It's fair to say that Kirstjen Nielsen will go down in history as the most controversial secretary in the history of the young department. At Homeland Security, she put in place what many saw as draconian policies. Under her watch, thousands of children were ripped from their parents trying to cross the southern border, many housed in crowded camps until a federal judge stepped in and demanded the families be reunited. She leaves office with potentially thousands of children misplaced, separated from their families, and the government now says it could take up to 2 years to reunite them all, because for many, they didn't keep appropriate paperwork. Her actions were met with scorn and widespread protests at her home, at a restaurant, with marches across the U.S. and pleas from overseas.
To beg and ask President Donald Trump to please return my baby soon. I don't want to keep waiting a long time. 2 months is enough punishment for mothers to learn not to cross.
She responded with a tweet saying there is no formal policy of separating families and justified her order with this.
This administration did not create a policy of separating families at the border.
Both of those statements were lies, simply not true, according to an Inspector General's report. She also attempted to end the program that allowed hundreds of thousands of people from Honduras and El Salvador to stay in the U.S. legally, some who had been here for 20 years. She was also known for going out of her way to try and publicly please her boss. Asked in Congress about reports he referred to African countries with a curse word, she deflected. Asked why he wanted more people to immigrate from countries like Norway, her response was widely criticized.
Norway is a predominantly white country, isn't it?
I actually do not know that, sir, but I imagine that is the case.
She made sure not to upset the president when asked about Russian interference in the election.
I haven't seen any evidence that the attempts to interfere in our election infrastructure was to favor a particular political party.
But there is evidence. The intelligence community has explicitly said the Russians wanted to help President Trump. In repeated trips to the border recently, the president made it clear he saw security here as an important campaign issue. He says he wants his officials to be tougher. And even though she was repeatedly by his side and said she supported his policies, in the end, none of it was enough to please the president she tried so publicly to impress, leaving her department more controversial than when she came, and more concretely, thousands of families with the permanent scars of separation. Patty Culhane, Al Jazeera, Washington.
India's governing party has announced